What if I told you that in exactly 30 days, you could become completely immune to other people's opinions, criticism, rejection, and negative energy? Not just better at handling it, but literally bulletproof against it. The ancient Stoics developed a psychological technique so powerful that it creates what they called emotional invincibility. By the end of this video, you will have the exact step-by-step method that transformed slaves into philosophers and ordinary people into legends. Most people spend their entire lives being emotional victims. Someone criticizes them and their day is ruined. Someone rejects them and they question their worth. Someone is rude and they carry that negativity for hours or even days. But what if you could become so emotionally strong that nothing anyone says or does could disturb your inner peace? Stay with me, because what I reveal in the final minutes will show you exactly how to build this emotional immunity starting today. The Roman Stoic philosopher Epictetus was born a slave. He had every reason to be bitter, angry, and emotionally reactive to the cruelty around him. Yet he developed such powerful emotional immunity that he became one of the most respected teachers in history. His secret was understanding a fundamental truth that most people never learn. You cannot control what happens to you, but you have absolute control over how it affects you. Think about the people who seem unshakable no matter what chaos surrounds them. They did not win the genetic lottery or live charmed lives. They trained their minds to be emotionally bulletproof through specific mental practices that anyone can learn. The difference between emotionally strong people and emotionally reactive people is not what happens to them. It is how they process what happens to them. Here is the complete 30-day protocol for building emotional immunity, based on ancient Stoic wisdom and modern psychological research. This is not theory. This is a practical system that works if you follow it exactly as I described. Day 1 through 7. Install the control filter. Every time something upsets you during this week, immediately ask yourself one question. Is this within my control or outside my control? If it is outside your control, practice what Stoics called indifference, not caring about outcomes you cannot influence. Train your brain to redirect emotional energy only toward things you can actually change. Most emotional suffering comes from trying to control things beyond your influence. Day 8 through 14. Practice the opinion immunity drill. Whenever someone criticizes you, judges you, or expresses a negative opinion about you, immediately remind yourself of this truth. Their opinion is a reflection of their internal world, not a measurement of your worth. Other people's opinions are like weather, constantly changing and completely outside your control. You do not get upset when it rains because you understand that weather has nothing to do with you personally. Treat opinions the same way. Day 15 through 21. Develop emotional detachment through perspective training. When something upsets you, ask yourself these 3 questions. Will this matter in 1 week? Will this matter in 1 month? Will this matter in 1 year? Most things that disturb our peace are completely insignificant when viewed from proper perspective. You are training your brain to automatically zoom out from temporary problems to lasting truths. Day 22 through 30. Master the response choice technique. Between any stimulus and your response, there is a space. In that space lies your power to choose your reaction. When someone does something that typically triggers you, pause for 3 seconds before responding. During those 3 seconds, remind yourself that you are choosing your response based on your character, not their behavior. You respond from strength, not from reaction. The neuroscience behind this 30-day protocol is fascinating and powerful. When you consistently practice these techniques, you literally rewire neural pathways in your brain. Your amygdala, responsible for emotional reactions, becomes less sensitive to external triggers. Your prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thinking, becomes more dominant in stressful situations. You develop what neuroscientists call emotional regulation, the ability to remain calm and clear-headed regardless of external circumstances. Think about how different your life would be if other people's moods, opinions, and actions had no power over your emotional state. Imagine walking through your day with complete confidence, knowing that your peace of mind depends only on your own choices, not on how others treat you. This is not fantasy. This is the natural result of building emotional immunity through consistent practice. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, faced constant political pressure, criticism, and challenges to his authority. Yet his personal writings reveal a man of remarkable inner peace. His secret was daily practice of emotional detachment. He wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Every morning, he would remind himself that he might encounter difficult people, unexpected problems, and various forms of criticism, but that none of these external events could disturb his inner calm unless he allowed them to. I have taught this 30-day protocol to business executives dealing with hostile board members, athletes facing intense pressure and criticism, students struggling with social anxiety, and parents overwhelmed by family drama. The results are consistently remarkable. People report feeling lighter, more confident, and significantly less affected by other people's negative energy. But the most profound change is that they stop taking things personally that were never about them in the first place. The key insight that changes everything is this: most people's behavior toward you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own internal struggles, insecurities, and emotional patterns. When someone is rude, they are usually dealing with their own stress or pain. When someone criticizes you, they are often projecting their own fears or insecurities. When someone rejects you, they are making a decision based on their own needs and preferences, not a judgment about your value as a person. Once you truly understand this, you become immune to taking other people's actions personally. You stop being an emotional victim of circumstances outside your control. You develop what the Stoics called an inner citadel, an unshakable core that external events cannot disturb. Here is a practical example of emotional immunity in action. Imagine your boss criticizes your work in front of your colleagues. The emotionally reactive response is to feel embarrassed, angry, or hurt. Your self-worth drops and you spend hours replaying the scene and feeling bad about yourself. The emotionally immune response is different. You recognize that your boss is having a bad day or dealing with pressure from their superiors. Their criticism might contain useful feedback about your work, which you can use to improve, but it does not reflect your value as a person. You respond professionally, extract any useful information, and move on without emotional damage. Your peace of mind remains intact because you understand the difference between professional feedback and personal worth. This is not about becoming cold or uncaring. Emotional immunity allows you to care deeply about people and causes that matter while remaining unaffected by negativity, criticism, and drama that serve no constructive purpose. You become more loving, not less, because you are not constantly defending yourself against perceived threats to your ego. Have you ever noticed how much mental energy you waste worrying about what other people think of you, or replaying conversations where someone was critical or rude? What would you do with all that energy if it was not tied up in emotional reactions to other people's behavior? Think about the strongest person you know emotionally. I guarantee they have developed some form of emotional immunity through experience and practice. Share in the comments about a time when someone's criticism or negative behavior affected you deeply and how you wish you had handled it differently. Tomorrow, start day one of the 30-day protocol. Every time something upsets you, ask whether it is within your control or outside your control. Notice how much of your emotional suffering comes from trying to control things beyond your influence. This simple shift in focus will begin building your emotional immunity immediately. The ancient Stoics understood that freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want, but the wisdom to remain unaffected by things outside your control. When you develop emotional immunity, You become truly free from the emotional roller coaster that most people ride every day based on other people's moods and actions. If this approach to building emotional strength resonates with you,